It's always something special when we go against San Miguel. We're like, brothers fighting for the attention of the big bosses, and um, it's a real rivalry. It's not that friendly either, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's obviously a dilemma. It's been a dilemma for every team so far. They're like 6-0 or something like that when he's been on the team. So definitely that's something we're going to have to really try to figure out. Um, you know, Benny Boatwright is like Arvin Santos times two, or times five, or maybe times 10. I mean, that was what made Jumar so great. Oftentimes through those years was having Arvin Santos sitting there on top, keeping defenses honest. So Benny does that even better than Arvin ever did. So. It's a dilemma that I think all teams are going to have to figure out, and we're going to try to figure it out. If we can't, then we're not going to win the series.
The last time you faced San Miguel in semis was last conference. A lot has changed.
That was a long time ago. I mean, they had the World Cup. It seems like that's forever. It's been 6-7 months since we last played them in the semis. So, yeah, I mean, it's always something special when we go against San Miguel. We're like, brothers fighting for the attention of the big bosses, and it's a real rivalry. It's not that friendly either, to be honest with you. So I mean, I've got great relationships with Chris, Ross, and Marshall because of the Asian games and the Southeast Asian games we played together and stuff. But when it comes down, to it, we're not very friendly when the games start. So I think it's one of the best rivalries in the PBA, the San Miguel versus Ginebra.
What about the changes that they made? They acquired Don Troliano and Geronte. How would that change
Well,
the complexion of the series?
They filled out a position that they weren't necessarily deep in. Marshall is really an off guard, playing the small forward position for them oftentimes, and now he gets to go back to his normal position because Don and Tang can play that position for them. So they're getting healthy at the right time. They've been battling injuries. They getting healthy at the right time. So like I said, they're, in my mind, to even all four teams, they're the team to beat.
Question for Jamie. I know Coach Tim Bone earlier said that you guys are trying so hard not to focus on San Miguel while you go up against NorthPort, but just from the game earlier between San Miguel and Ginebra, what's your personal takeaway from the team that you're about to face in the semifinals?
They're tough. They got a Benny Boatwright. He can score 50 any given night. So I mean, they're really tough. We're not taking them for granted, and we know it's going to be a hell of a series, and pretty much a championship level series. So these are just the games we want to play in. We live to play in. I remember watching them before I was on Ginebra, and Ginebra versus San Miguel sort of looked like an all-star game. So we know it's going to be tough, and we're going to try and do what we can to win the series.
And also it was mentioned earlier that, of course, San Miguel recently has acquired Don Troliano, who's one of the most lethal shooters in today's league. Where's your excitement level at getting to play head-to-head against him in this series?
It'll be a good matchup. He can shoot the ball lights out. We know that playing against him on his old team. He's lit us up before for 30-plus points. So we know he's a good player, and we're gonna see how it turns out. I'm excited to play against him and Don Troliano, and I think it'll be a good matchup.